Everyone argues about the price of XRP. Almost no one is watching the machine underneath it. This week, that machine tried to change itself, and the vote is still open. Here's what the record shows. One accusation has followed XRP like a shadow: that Ripple, the company, controls it, that the ledger isn't decentralized, that it's a private database wearing a costume. It's the oldest attack in the book, and this month the ledger let us test it in public, on-chain, in real time. Because on June 15th, the network began rewriting its own foundation, and the way that rewrite is happening tells you exactly who holds the power. The software that runs the XRP Ledger had a name for over a decade: Rippled. On June 15th, 2026, it was renamed XRPLD. On the surface, cosmetic. Underneath, a statement. Configuration paths, metadata, the database itself, all rewritten to say the quiet part out loud. The ledger is not the company, but a name change proves nothing. The real question is who approves the change, and that is where the record gets interesting. 80% of trusted validators, 14 consecutive days. That is the constitution of the ledger, enforced by math, not a boardroom. Here is the rule almost no headline explains. On the XRP Ledger, no single entity can force a change, not Ripple, not a developer, not a whale. To alter the protocol, an amendment must earn the support of more than 80% of the network's trusted validators and hold that support for 2 straight weeks. Miss the threshold, even by a fraction, and the change simply does not happen. So watch what's unfolding right now. The new version, v3.2.0, has crossed the line. Roughly 89% of trusted validators have adopted it, past the threshold, moving forward. But here's the twist the record reveals. By raw node count, the old version is still ahead. The most powerful trusted validators upgraded first. The long tail hasn't caught up. Support and adoption are not the same number, and the ledger tracks both transparently. That is the opposite of a company flipping a switch. That is a network negotiating with itself. If Ripple controlled the XRP ledger, this amendment would already be law. It isn't. That's not an opinion. That's the vote count. And then there's the part that ends the Ripple controls it argument entirely. Bundled alongside the upgrade is a security amendment, Fix Cleanup 320. It hardens the ledger's newest machinery: single asset vaults, permissioned exchanges, multi-purpose tokens, and an on-chain lending protocol. Ripple voted for it publicly on-chain, and right now it sits at roughly 40% support. Ripple wants it. The validators haven't agreed. Step back, and the fight over these amendments reveals the real story. Look at what the network is arguing about: vaults, permissioned trading venues, tokenized assets, on-chain credit. These aren't retail toys. The XRP Ledger isn't trying to win a meme war. This is the plumbing of institutional finance, installed 180% vote at a time into a ledger that settles in seconds. And every brick has to pass the same test: earn the network or don't ship. So who really controls XRP? The record's answer is uncomfortable for both sides. Not Ripple, because Ripple can't pass its own amendment. And not Chaos, because 80% of the most trusted validators on Earth just moved in the same direction, deliberately, in the open. Control of the XRP Ledger is distributed, auditable, and slow on purpose. The boring answer, the documented answer, the kind of answer that doesn't trend on a Tuesday, but outlasts everyone who was screaming that day.
Watch the amendment, not the price. If Fix Cleanup crosses 80% and holds for 2 weeks, the ledger just got institution-ready machinery live. The story is documented, the vote is public. Connect the dots. Stay locked in.